Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of the Empowerment Minutes podcast. This is Dr. Maurine Kwende, your podcast host, and I'd like to welcome all the first timers and our existing fans. So, welcome back to the Empowerment Minutes podcast. And again, this is Dr. Maurine Kwende, your podcast host. I am a learning leader, faculty researcher, speaker, coach, consultant, and author. I'm passionate about empowering leaders to reach their full potential. And I do that through my podcast, through my academy, research, teaching, books, social media channels, and newsletter. So you can learn more about me at www.maurinekwende.com or reach out to me via info@emklearningsolutions.com. So, as the title suggests, today we're going to be looking at the 5 essential must-haves for every leader, including emerging leaders. So today we're really going to be diving deep into the essential priorities that every leader, including emerging leaders, should embrace for personal and professional success. So please join us on this journey today on self-discovery and empowerment. So we're going to talk about the first priority. The first priority on the list is self-care. And really, self-care is the cornerstone of effective leadership. It's really not selfish like many people think, oh, self-care is so selfish. It's not. It's the opposite. It's about really taking care of yourself. You can only give what you have. It's self-preservation. I've had conversations with leaders and they talk about the goals, what they're going to be working on, and they hardly ever mention self-care, and that's a huge mistake. Really, leaders should not neglect their well-being in pursuit of goals, but self-care really ensures that you have the energy, the resilience to lead effectively. I've seen leaders who do not even set boundaries. They do not put themselves first. No wonder they get burnt out. And so when they do this, how then will their direct reports prioritize self-care if they're not, right? So leaders have to be role models and should set the good example. So everyone who's listening to this call, who's a leader, who's not making the self-care a priority, needs to make some changes. We have just one life to live. So I remember times in my career when I was written up because I wasn't feeling well and I wanted to go home. And the leader, of course, a lousy leader, if you ask me, told me I could not take some time off because the work was not done. Really? Well, to cut this long story short, I had to take care of myself. So I had to go. So you should take care of yourself. Put yourself first, okay? And so let's go now to the next priority, and that's focusing on mental health. It really ties well together with self-care. So now, when it comes to mental health, people always overlook this aspect of leadership as well. Our mental well-being is the foundation of our leadership capacity. How can you lead others if you don't take care of your own mental health? That shouldn't be happening. We've heard horrible stories where people commit suicide, they take their lives because of mental health issues that they did not even take or pay attention to. So there's also so much stigma around mental health in leadership. I want to encourage you to consider mental health. You look at mental wellness as a priority. Look at doing things like mindfulness, even yoga. And if you're really experiencing those issues, please consider seeking professional help, professional support. Try to contact the mental health line that's usually provided in your employee handbook, or even call your doctor's office. You need to make your mental health a priority. Okay. So priority number 3, embracing self-awareness. Oh my gosh, this is really another one. Self-awareness should take the spotlight really in our leadership. So knowing yourself is key to understanding others and making informed decisions. So I offer self-awareness in my trainings most often, because oftentimes when I ask leaders, if do you know who you are, and they're like, wondering what I'm talking about, self care is really very important. It's going to help you identify even your areas of strength and also that of your team. You cannot, be leading people if you don't really know yourself. And so, how are you going to help them out? You got to be able to spend some time to know your areas of strengths, how you can work from a position of strength. Take strength finder exercises, assessments, self awareness assessments like the DISC, even the Gallup Strength Finder, which is very common in the educational setting. So, um, use whatever tools that you have in your disposal and learn how to understand yourself, embrace it, and some of the techniques to help you with self-awareness is just looking at simple things like journaling or even asking for feedback. You got to be able to know yourself. I love this quote by John Maxwell that says you must know yourself to grow yourself. You got to be able to answer that question, who are you? You have to be able to provide a confident response about who you are. Let's move on to the fourth one, which I love also. That's self leadership. As a leader, you have the responsibility to practice self leadership. And so, how can you effectively say you can lead others if you do not lead yourself first? It always starts with you. So, what do you need to do then to grow yourself? What do you need to do to develop yourself? Do you have conferences at your disposal? What books can you leverage? What's your calendar look like when it comes to your own personal growth and development, right? Can you attend even some events on personal growth, so you can learn about, or about self leadership, leading yourself? Maybe attend even academies to equip yourself, so you can then of course equip others. So some strategies that you can leverage in terms of self leadership include things like goal setting, self motivation, right? Because there are times in your leadership journey that you need those things, right? You got to be able to set your goals and your team goals, organizational goals, right? So self leadership is really going to help you with all of that, really focusing on your personal and professional growth. So now this brings us to the fifth priority, that's cultivating resilience. So, of course, this is the last but not the least. Resilience is really important when it comes to leadership. Leadership is not a walk in the park. I say that all the time. It's full of challenges. Working, with other people, it's not a joke. You got to be able to embrace those challenges. That's where resilience really comes in. When you have those setbacks, what do? You got to be able to bounce back and keep moving forward. So, resilience is something that you cannot negotiate. You got to be able to learn how to be more resilient in the workplace, right? And okay, of course, what are some strategies that you can leverage when it comes to building resilience, right? Of course, you got to be able to learn how to embrace failure. There is no way you can grow without embracing failure. Many people are afraid to fail. Actually, you cannot make progress without failing. So you have to work on your mindset to embrace failure as a learning opportunity. So, and there you have it, dear listeners. These are the 5 priorities that I believe every leader, including emerging leaders, should focus on, of course. And list is, the first number 1 is self-care, and of course the second one is mental health. The third one is self-awareness. Next, self-leadership, and the fifth and final one is about cultivating resilience. So remember that leadership is not just about leading others; it's about leading yourself on a journey of growth and impact. So this is the end of this week's podcast, and I'd like to say thank you for joining me, Dr. Maurine Kwende, on this empowering episode. Keep prioritizing what matters, and together we'll create a brighter, more successful future as leaders.